The lawyer's voice was too polite for bad news. "Mr. Hale, I hope I'm not disturbing you." I was standing in an empty apartment, holding a pen I no longer owned. The walls still smelled like fresh paint, a place meant for starting over. "You signed the document," he continued. "Correct?" I looked at the window. My reflection looked thinner than I remembered. Yes, a pause, breathing on the other end, measured, nervous. "There's been a development." I waited. Silence has weight when someone else is carrying it. "Your stepson's claim to the house is complicated." I remembered his face when he shoved the papers toward me. "Sign or you'll regret it." I remembered my wife behind him, arms folded, eyes somewhere else. I signed because I was tired. I left because I was done begging for a place in a family that had already replaced me. The lawyer cleared his throat. "We may need to speak in person." I smiled without meaning to. Now they were afraid. The threat came 3 days earlier, over dinner. No raised voices, no broken plates, just a folder sliding across the table. My stepson didn't call me Dad anymore. Hadn't in months. He called me Sir, like a stranger renting space in his house. "You don't belong here," he said calmly. "Sign and walk away." My wife didn't stop him. That was the betrayal, not the words. The silence. Later that night, she told me it was for the best. The house had been in her family. Emotionally. I had only paid for it financially. I slept on the couch, in my own home, like a guest overstaying. I thought about the years I raised him. School fees, hospital nights, teaching him to drive. He wasn't my blood, but I was his father, or so I believed. Something about the timing bothered me. The urgency, the rehearsed confidence. The lawyer already prepared. People don't threaten unless they think they're safe. I didn't argue. I didn't accuse. I smiled and asked for a day to process. Then I checked the old files. The will, the mortgage, the trust deed, and the medical records. Years ago, when he was 16, he needed surgery. My wife signed the consent forms. Except one form wasn't hers. Different handwriting. Different surname. A man I had never met. I requested hospital copies, quietly, legally. Then I checked her phone records. Not messages, patterns. One number. Repeated. Old. From before we married. From before the boy was born. I ran a DNA test from a toothbrush he left behind. Not because I wanted to know. Because I already did. The results came in a thin envelope. Probability of paternity, 0%. I didn't sit down. I stood in the kitchen where she used to make him breakfast. I called her into the room. "Who is Mark Reynolds?" I asked. Her face collapsed before her mouth opened. She didn't deny it. He was the biological father. He never wanted responsibility. I was the solution. My stepson knew. They had found the old emails months ago. That's why the confidence. That's why the lawyer. That's why the threat. They thought blood would win. I signed the papers, not because they forced me, because I had already rewritten the ending. The house was in a trust, my trust, transferred to the child of the marriage, not the child of the affair. Their lawyer had missed one clause. He hadn't. The biological father had signed away his rights years ago, which made my stepson legally no one, no heir, no claim, no leverage. I sent the DNA report and trust clause to their lawyer the morning after I left. That's why he called. Very polite, very nervous. "You may not need to come in," he said. I hung up. They didn't come after me. They couldn't. The house went into legal limbo. So did their certainty. I kept nothing. Not the home. Not the marriage. Not the boy who learned to threaten instead of ask. But I took something else. Their story. The truth, and the silence they deserved. I don't miss them. I miss the man I was before I knew, and I won't be him again.